Okay, good evening people. It's Hooks, DJ Hooks from Dance Decade, promoting the PAs2 in Preston, 25th of March. Don't forget, we're on tour, we're doing some interviews with some of the live acts. We've been Blackpool, we've been to Manchester, we've been to Liverpool. I'm really happy we're actually back in Blackpool this evening. It's Studio 3, one of our good friends. Davos has let us manage to hunt down another act, which I'm really proud to say. So we're going to go into the studio. They've just been doing some work. I'm going to grab him for about 20 minutes. We can have a little bit of a chin wag with a certain gentleman. Follow me. Now then, sir.
How do?
Okay, so welcome people to another interview with the Dance Decade crew. It's 25th of March to PAs2. Like I said, I've been lucky enough to hunt down Luke Neptune. So Luke, again, lovely to see you. All right, sir.
Too.
Okay, I know you're a busy man. We're in a studio, so he's a busy man. He's got vocals to lay down, etc., etc. So we're just lucky to catch him for a while. Last night we were in Manchester doing K-Class, which was brilliant, and we've done a friend of yours, Ian Bland, as well from Dream Frequency and Dancing Divas, and we've been lucky enough to do Davos, which lucky enough to be in and around the studio this evening. So, Luke, just really nice to have you on board. It'd be a really good evening.
Thanks for having me.
The usual pro. I'm looking down at my cue cards down here for the questions. Okay, so it's just an honest approach of your interests, how you got into music, and just a little bit about yourself and potentially some future projects if we get on to talking about that. All right, sir?
Yeah, cool.
So, first questions first. What influenced you into getting into dance music?
My brothers and sisters, they used to go out to all the raves like when it was first starting, and I was obviously too young to go by about 4 or 5 years. So I used to sneak into their bedrooms and stick the tapes on, you know, like, and so that's where the seeds were planted.
Yeah.
And as soon as I was old enough to afford, well, actually I must have been about 14 years old. For Christmas I asked for decks, so my mum got me some belt drives.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
We're all starting on
Sound Lab belt drives, and some little crummy mixer. And that's how I started with dance music, DJing, and I got a microphone as well.
Right.
So I was shouting down that, learning to sort of MC a little bit.
Yeah.
And actually, by a year later, I was actually in a few clubs, just blagging my way in.
As you
'Cause
do.
I looked a bit old, I had a bit of stubble, so I was able to
Everyone blags it.
blag a few promoters and say, yeah, I'm old enough. Only little clubs around Blackpool, but I was getting a taste for it, you know.
Once you start gigging, it's very addictive for sure.
So that was it really, that was.
So your brother and sisters, as in the Blackburn raves? Is that what you mean, or the
Blackpool,
early parties in the
all
Blackpool?
around,
of those.
all
So sort of at late 80s, early 90s is when that was your influence.
I was hearing about all these clubs, and even as I would have been about 12.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I remember.
Looks well done.
Yeah. even as a 12-year-old, I was thinking, I can't wait to get out there and have some of that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I knew like what you know what it all entailed, but so that was it.
So
basically.
brothers and sisters and a set of belt drive decks, SLBD 22s for myself. They were the first decks. Yeah, got them on to Jay Woodrow's playing at the PAs. He borrowed them off me for a few years, and they're now in Wayne Gallagher. Who's playing as well. They're in his attic. Good effort. So next question. So when you first started clubbing, as in, you know, you got into music before you were allowed to go out to clubs, what was your mecca when you went first out partying, as it were, and appreciating dance music as a punter? What was the mecca that made you think this is awesome?
Well, that's the thing, because by the time I was old enough to actually look old enough to get into a club, about 15, all those clubs that my brothers and sisters have been going to around Blackpool, they're all gone.
Right, ouch.
Sequins shut, Hackett shut.
Hackett's, Adam Mays.
Shut, all shut. But the Fever Crew was still mucking around, and they had a club on Topping Street called the Cooler, and so that was my club.
That was your mecca.
And I went there every single Saturday, and I used to go on my own because my mates didn't look old enough to get in, so I just go on my own, you know.
Champ, with your beard, walking in there. Good effort.
And they was good. I'd leave them on the park drinking cider, you know.
Brilliant. We all have to start somewhere.
And I was and some brilliant times in there.
And what sort of tunes? What was the genre of music that was playing at that time?
In the Cooler, they was playing a lot of the Italian stuff.
Italian house.
Actually, it was quite a mix, really, when it Fever. So they start off, you know, quite housey, then they go into Italian, then they start banging out some of the hardcore, you know,
Yeah,
get a bit crazy, get a bit daft.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's not my sort of thing.
No,
The hardcore
trip
stuff.
to Trumpton.
Yeah. But it was fun. It was really good times.
Yeah, nah. So your Meccas, everyone has a Mecca. It's brilliant.
I would have liked my Mecca to have been something like a bit more legendary,
Yeah,
like
It's just you're fortunately not as old as me.
Yes, yeah.
So we have the hacienda, we had set ends, we had
Exactly.
there's sequins, hackets,
I would sacrifice a few wrinkles and a bit
Yeah.
of grey hair to have been able to have been born a little bit earlier to get some of that,
But then you create your own as well, and we then created Meccas for other people because then the Carlton started in Morecambe, which is where we're all from.
Yeah.
And that was the influence of all those little clubs. So it's the appreciation of going to those nights then has inspired you into doing other things that then inspires others. It's a rolling effect. It's brilliant. So personally, so you started DJing. Did you DJ in clubs as well?
Just a few little things,
Just a few?
And then what happened was like, I sold my decks basically, and started playing instruments instead and singing. So basically, I didn't give up music, but I kind of traded this for the instruments.
You wanted to create rather than just.
Yeah, I wanted to write. I felt
Brilliant.
because I'd always had a piano at home, so I'd always been tinkering away on the piano. So I just wanted to go down that route.
Yeah.
I wish I'd kept my decks, but I had to sell my decks to pay for instruments.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If
Can't do
I'd
everything.
have kept my decks, might have been.
Yeah.
I might have been on the DJ list for this.
Treat yourself. Treat yourself. Set of 12 tens. Oh, good. Yeah. So yeah, and you went from sort of like playing around, understanding dance music, and appreciating it from sort of like a DJ's point of view, as it were, early, and getting off on what your brother and sis was, turning yourself into an artist and getting into the music itself.
One of the things I always regret, as probably most people do, is selling my records. I had a stack of
feel that
records.
pain.
Yeah. I don't know where I got them from. You know, when you get a collection, you think, look at it, you think, where have I got all these from, by the way? These are classics. But I sold them for like 100 quid.
Yeah.
Something silly like that.
I haven't bought any records ever. I know I don't buy vinyl. No, we always buy vinyl.
And do you know what? I still dream. The lad that I sold them to, I still dream that I go around to his house and say, will you sell me those records back? And he goes, yeah. And then I wake up.
Oh, devils. No, that's not good. Oh, vinyl, I've got a cellar with thousands. So rather than a DJing as a club then, so you turned yourself into an artist. What's your favourite venue so far that you've stood on stage and thought, yes, mate, that felt awesome?
Do you know what? It's probably actually the Winter Gardens, just round the corner.
Nothing, just the Winter Gardens, mate. It's still an iconic venue.
I like
the sound.
Yeah,
and
it's just a nice building. It's really sort of architecture's beautiful.
It is. It's a great building.
And you can get lost in it as well. So whenever I've got a gig in there, I always find myself wandering around and just getting lost. And I've had some good nights in there, to be fair.
Chemical Brothers. 15 years ago, I watched Chemical Brothers there for my mate's 30th. Oh, it's brilliant.
I'll tell you a story of that. Shall I tell you? Yeah, I'll tell you.
Please do. Tell me the story.
Right, so this is parental advisory story, but I'll edit it down a little bit. So me and my mates, we was out uptown, and we was having a few drinks, and the Chemical Brothers was on, the one you're talking about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And I said to him, let's get ourselves in here into the winter. We'll nick our way in. And they've gone, no, you can't nick in. I said, I can nick in anywhere. I'm the snake. You know what I mean, right?
Yes, mate.
Because it was only like 16, 17.
Yeah.
So little
The world's your
arseholes.
oyster.
So they're going, no, you can't get in. So they've gone home. So I went, right, I'm going in. Anyway, I managed to find a little sort of fire exit, and I knocked it open. And I found some steps. Went up these steps, and I could hear the music. So I thought, just follow the music, and I was going down all these corridors.
Such a big place.
Yeah, going down all these corridors, and just kept following the music until I went down this hall, and I saw the fire exit and the lights.
Yes, and you're in.
I was in.
Well, I pay for my tickets, by the way, just to let you know.
Always pay for your tickets.
Pay for your tickets, peeps. Yeah.
Do as I do. Don't do as I do.
Yes, do as I say, not as I do.
That's it.
As
That's
you
it.
do.
That's the one.
So, have you played internationally?
Not really, just nationally actually.
Just nationally? What's the furthest venue away from your hometown you've played?
London.
London?
Yeah.
W1 Met Up in a Smoke, yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, it's a lovely place. All the best people are born down there. Okay, so that's it. Now, other than Luke Neptune, have you had any pseudonyms? Have you asked to do any remixes for anyone or anything like that? Is that something that you'd like to get into, or?
I know I don't. I like to keep my own name because I don't. If I do something, I don't get that using the pseudonym.
No,
I
put
want
your
people to
name
know
to
it's
it.
me.
Put
You
your
know
name
what I
to
mean?
it, yeah.
It's me, by the way.
Unless it's a tax dodge.
So I've had different names.
Yeah.
But
So Luke Neptune, Luke Mars, Luke Pluto, yes, mate. Going for the schoolboy jokes.
Lukey G used to be back in the day.
Lukey G.
So when the DJ, Lukey
So
G.
Lukey G. So when you were an MC at Zone, what was your MC name?
Well, it was LNG.
LNG.
Yeah.
LNG. It's
Yeah.
a great name. Good son. So, talking about yourself and your tunes, how much music? I mean, because I've seen a lot of the stuff that you've done on Facebook. I love listening to your stuff. Sunday morning, get the odd your Joe Smooth rendition is absolutely fucking awesome, man. My missus is like, oh my god, no, love it. So it's great. Your own music. How much of your own music have you produced yourself? How many sort of have you got EPs out? Is they downloadable? Or,
Well, I've got an album coming out this year.
Brilliant.
And it's going to be like a 10, 11, 12 track. I don't know how many tracks going out. It's all getting shortlisted at the minute.
Yeah.
That's going to be out around about summer. I've got lots of singles out from the last few years that you can find on iTunes, Tracksource,
Brilliant.
Beatport, the various different places. And I've got a lot of stuff that I did in my 20s that kind of didn't get released, but you can find it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff started to happen for me in my early 30s. So in a way, it's almost like my musical for a lot of people. My musical career starts when I was about 30, but there's a lot of stuff before that. So, I mean, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's there if people want to go and find it.
Yeah.
But I actually do believe as well, like everyone else, that my career started.
Yeah.
It started to sort of get a bit spicy.
But to see the nucleus of Luke, you go back a little bit further.
You can
It was
do,
your
yeah.
20s where you were
You
finding
can do,
yourself
yeah.
as a musical artist, and then from about 30, you think this is what I want to be, and this is where I want to go.
Yeah. It starts to sort of really happen, man. About 30, yeah.
So, what's your favourite tune that you've produced yourself?
It's probably
Excuse me.
one called Rapture, and I actually listened to it the other day for the first time in a long time. And when I listened to it, I thought the stuff I could do, I'd change that and I'd change that. But the essence of the track
is
very simple, and I wrote it on the beach. I took a synthesizer on the beach with batteries in it and headphones, and it was just a nice experience. It was. So when I listen to the track now, I can see where I was.
You reminisce where you were.
I was
It's
on
the
the
whole
beach.
feeling
It's a
of
nice
making
day.
it. Wow. Reminisce.
Yeah.
As you are. No, that's a good shout. Reminisce it is then. Excuse me. So your favourite piece of music is a Reminisce. So on the lineup, it is a pretty epic lineup for me.
Yes.
Massively.
Yeah.
FPI Project,
Yeah.
Adamski, Bass says, yourself, can't be performed with sort of 9 other DJs in the DJ's room downstairs, which is going to be epic in itself. There's a lot of different genres of old school music. But from your point of view as an artist, if you could perform with anyone on that stage who's on that night, who would it be?
Oh, probably Adamski, and probably sing Killer. You know what I mean?
And sing it. Oh, mate, what?
Yeah.
What an idea!
Because that track for me, when I listen to that track now, it still sounds like the future.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's
The production on it's amazing.
Yeah. It is a timeless that sort of slightly slower dance music when it first came out in the acid house sort of era before. You had to go to 122 to 128 beats a minute, and then it just went on and on and on.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I remember the first time
It's
I heard
timeless.
it.
Like you say, it still sounds like the future because it's not fit into any genre.
Exactly. I remember I sat watching the chart show. You remember the chart show from the 90s? And I would have been about 12. And I remember it came on, and I just sat there like, what's this? And when I listen to it now, I still get that same feeling like, this is just super cool,
Well, you need to do a copy, get it on Facebook, tag me out. I've got my Sunday morning tune.
I don't know, some tunes you can't mess with. I think that's one of them,
Yeah, I think you could do it. Okay, so you're going to get bored of this, but my guilty pleasure, I have a guilty pleasure, and it is George Michael, Careless Whisper.
There's nothing wrong with that.
It's Different Corner, by George Michael.
That's a proud pleasure.
It is. The lyrics for me when I was a young lad, it was a real sort of like, wow, that's how I feel, this is where I'm at, it was awesome. We know what Davos's guilty pleasure is. It's a bit of light disco.
That's not guilty.
Everyone has these moments. It is when he dances to it. That is very guilty. So, do you have a guilty pleasure that when you're really singing it in the shower, you just think, what am I doing?
Oh yeah, loads.
What
My day's filled with listening to guilty pleasures.
That's fine.
But let me think of one then. About Evelyn Champagne. Baby, you make my love come down. That's such a cheesy
Ooh,
tune.
you make my love.
That's the
a
one.
tune. Calm
So
down.
cheesy,
Yeah.
and stuff like that, like from that era where it's all sort of synthy bass lines.
Yeah. That's not a guilty pleasure, man. That's a tune.
This is, isn't
That's
it? I could have done better than that.
Yes, mate. It's a floor filler in my world.
I'm holding back on her.
Holding back the ears. You could go away with that one. Okay, so you've Adamski, we've already asked that question. So we've got one more question that we ask. It's not my question, by the way, because I would never be so rude. But the gentleman on the other side of the camera and down a bit, he always likes to know.
Is this the Den special?
This is the Den special. If you have a worst record or worst tune you've ever made, what is it?
Bloody loads of them.
Oh, don't say that. Lying.
Let me think.
Anything that's been that bad, you just thought, I'm abandoning this bad boy, but it actually got a name.
Yeah. There's one called Last Days of Disco that I did.
You can hear Davos's heart breaking.
No. It's actually the title sounds good. The title sounds really good. Actually,
Yeah.
you could actually make another
Yeah.
new track out of it. But the track was pretty cheesy, man.
Yeah.
And luckily, I don't think it's anywhere online.
Oh, lucky lad.
I've erased all trace of it.
Too fromage, too much cheese.
Yeah.
No. Well, listen, Luke, I know you're a busy man. That was fantastic. Really
Thank
nice
you
to
for having
catch up
me.
with you, sir. Have you got any future events that you want to speak about? Is there anything other than the PAs that you're doing for the rest
There's
of the
only
year?
one event that matters.
There she is, mate. He's a pro. All right, how good's that? You've got the people in the background. Yes. Mate. Okay, people. So I hope you enjoyed that. Luke Neptune, busy man. He's going to be performing with Dancing Divas. Tinkle on the old ivories, sir.
I think
Going to be vocals or?
vocals and ivories
yes,
and maybe a
mate. Bit
few
of
other little
Yeah.
surprises. That,
Percussion potentially.
Yeah.
Oh man,
yeah,
I've seen
maybe.
you playing on your bongos, lad. That's all good. Thanks very much, Luke, for your time. I know you're a busy man. I'll let you get back in the studio.
Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Listen, people. As usual, I always end up with saying this: we have 10 live DJs. 10 live DJs, we've got 10 acts, we've got individual superstars, we've got fantastic acts as well as a group, live bands. It's £20 for 20 acts. That is incredible, okay? Don't let yourselves down. This will be better than the last one. It's going to be awesome. We'll see you on the dance floor, 25th of March. Take care, peeps.